What's up, guys? How's it going? Cade Moore with More Muscle. I'm currently a nursing student, and I'm going to be eventually a medical doctor. I want to become a doctor, and my goal for you guys is I want to break down things and help you guys improve your health, and I want to simplify them so you guys can understand complex subjects. And this is going to help you guys become smarter. It's going to help you in life, and it's going to help you improve your health as well. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about minerals. Minerals are super important. We need them in our bodies. For our optimal health, we absolutely need them. Let's go over a couple. These are the major minerals, the ones that you need more of, and that's calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sulfur, sodium, potassium, and chloride. And then we're going to go through some smaller minerals that you definitely do need, but just in smaller amounts. And that's iron, iodine, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, fluoride, chromium, and molybdenum. So guys, these minerals are very important for us. Our bodies absolutely need them. So let's talk about how we can maximize our absorption and what we can do. And we're also going to talk about what happens when you don't have the right amount. And so we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is iodine. Guys, iodine is a trace mineral, which means you need smaller amounts, but you definitely still need it. With iodine, your body cannot regulate its metabolic rate. So you guys we have a thymus right here in our neck, and this is going to help us regulate our metabolism. And without proper amount of iodine, you can't have your metabolic rate working good. So iodine, like I said, found in the thyroid gland. It's great for regulating metabolic rate. It's great for T4 and T3, and those are what that's how the metabolic rates works with T4 and T3. So this helps with body temperature, reproduction, growth, and synthesis of blood cells and nerve function. It may help with immune response, and there's a lot of foods are really low in iodine, so a lot of people used to have problems with this. And then we got something called iodized salt that is available everywhere. That's super cheap, and you can get proper iodine with the iodized salt. I believe it was in 1924 they made iodized salt because there was an iodine deficiency. And people that live inland, like in the mountains or places that are not around the beach, they'd really struggle with iodine because a lot of iodine is found in seafoods. So luckily we have iodized salt, but if you don't have sufficient amount of iodine, you can have hypothyroidism, or you're gonna have problems. And hypothyroidism, hypo means slow, thyroid, that's this gland right here, so it's slow metabolism. Hypothyroidism means slow metabolism. And guys, so if you're not getting enough iodine, this can be serious, especially if you're pregnant. It's gonna be terrible for the fetus. It can cause neurodevelopmental problems, growth. And the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is iodine deficiency that causes goiter. So goiter, guys, is when your thymus gland swells up. So you'll see people, especially in other countries where they don't have sufficient supplementation, or they're not getting adequate vitamins and minerals. You'll see people that get goiter, and what happens is the thymus gland, it wants to basically work, and it's not been getting enough iodine, so it swells up. So this neck swells up, and that's going to help those people for the thymus gland to work properly. So it will swell up, and you'll see these people with big old necks. And I'll actually show you guys some pictures in here. So we'll put some pictures right here, but the neck swells up, and that's an iodine deficiency. So guys, you can get so if you have an iodine deficiency, iodized salt, seaweed, fish, dairy, tuna, eggs, prunes, lima beans, cheese, and organ meats, those all have iodine in it. And it's mainly seafood, right? But if you get iodine, you're not going to have thyroid problems, and your metabolism will be good. So that's a really important one, iodine. So we mentioned iodine. Now let's talk about some other ones. So guys, calcium and phosphorus and magnesium, they help with the bones and the teeth. phosphorus, potassium, iron, and sulfur, they provide structure to soft tissues. Sulfur is a constituent of the skin, hair, and nails. So sodium and potassium, those are really, really important. I think those are the most important ones, are sodium and potassium. Because especially sodium, if you're not getting enough sodium, you're sweating a lot, you'll know within like a week that you're not getting enough sodium because you're not going to feel good. Potassium is very important because it's in so many foods, and a lot of people are actually deficient in potassium, and I'm going to actually share with you guys a little later about that. And chloride, so those all maintain, so sodium, potassium, and chloride, they all maintain fluid balance. Sodium also is big on the pH system. So we want our body to be around 7.35, I believe, to 7.45 in pH. And that's acidity and alkaline, right? So you want to keep it around there. So sodium and potassium are also involved in transmission of nerve impulses. Calcium stimulates muscle contractions. Sodium and potassium. Magnesium stimulate muscle relaxation. Cobalt is a component of vitamin B12, and that's really important. And iodine is essential for production of the T3 and T4. Chromium enhances the action of insulin, right? So all these minerals, we got to be getting them in, because if not, our bodies aren't going to be working properly. We're going to focus, I think, on the most important. That's potassium and sodium. I think those are the most important. Sodium, guys, sodium controls blood pressure. So the more sodium you're taking in, you might have more high blood pressure, guys. So sodium is salt, right? So salt, sea salt, iodized salt, Himalayan salt. And then potassium can lower the blood pressure. And that's foods like apricots, lentils, acorns, squash, kidney beans, raisins, prunes, orange juice, bananas, whole foods that are high in potassium. So all those whole foods are pretty high in potassium, right? And there's a lot of people that aren't getting enough potassium. So guys, let me share you. So the recommended daily amount is about 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day. Now let's put this in perspective. A banana has 422 milligrams of potassium. So you would need 11 bananas, 11 to 12 bananas a day to get your recommended daily potassium in. So that's a lot, guys. And processed foods, they don't have a lot of potassium. And potassium is really important. That helps your body move, and just helps so many things. That helps your heart function correctly. And we'll get to it. But guys, I'm not saying don't take in your sodium, guys. So I want to share an experience with you guys. There was a time in my life when I wasn't as smart, but I thought sodium was bad for me. So I completely stopped eating sodium. And what happened is I did it for about a month, and one day I started feeling really lethargic. I felt like I couldn't focus, and all of a sudden I started feeling like I was going to pass out, and I started feeling like really panicky. And that's because my blood pressure tanked, right? So sodium is controlling that blood pressure, and if it doesn't have sodium, your blood pressure is going to be fluctuating. And if you have a really low blood pressure, you're going to feel like you're going to pass out. If you have a really high blood pressure, you're at risk for aneurysms, blood clots, heart problems, right? Because those vessels are just so compacted and moving so fast that it's going to cause problems to your heart, right? So it's good. Sodium is not bad, but too much of it is bad, right? So we'll go ahead and get back to it. So potassium, guys, if you want to lower your risk for hypertension, heart disease, all that stuff, you want to increase your potassium. That's going to help with so much. Potassium is super important. Guys, potassium's in whole foods. So you got to get your potassium in. Okay, now we're going to talk about, so say for example, if you go to the ER, you're going to the emergency room, one of the first things they're going to do for you is they're going to take your blood, and they're going to check your electrolyte levels. So sodium ranges, they want you between 135 to 145. That's the range. Potassium levels is 3.5 to 5. Anything lower, anything different within these ranges, they can cause problems. So let's go through something called hyponatremia. Guys, hypo means low, natremia means salt. So it's low sodium, low salt, right? So it's below 135. Because remember, 135 to 145 is the range you want to be in. And let's go over the signs and symptoms. So we got nausea, vomiting, headache, confusion. So remember when I had that sodium loss, I was really confused and I felt really panicky. So confusion, loss of energy, drowsiness, fatigue, restlessness, irritability, muscle weakness, spasms, cramps and seizure, and even a coma. So guys, that's how important sodium is, right? So you need to get it. Now let's talk about hypernatremia. So that's hyper is a lot, natremia is salt. So you're getting a lot of salt. So it's excessive thirst, lethargy, confusion, and restlessness. So guys, when you partake of too much salt, it's gonna cause water retention. So the water's gonna fall. If you eat sugar and sodium, especially the added sugar, that's gonna cause water retention, because when you take that, it brings in all the water towards it, right? So if you're doing a lot of salt, you're gonna get really thirsty. And same thing with added sugar; those things just bring in the water, right? So if you have a lot of salt, you're gonna feel very thirsty. Now let's go to kalemia. So kalemia means potassium, hypo means low, hyper means high. So hypokalemia means low potassium. And guys, potassium is really in charge of the heart. If you're not getting enough potassium, or if your kidneys aren't working and you have hyperkalemia, then you're gonna have problems. So hypokalemia means low potassium, and some signs and symptoms you'll see is constipation, heart palpitations, because remember it's the heart, extreme tiredness, muscle weakness and spasms, tingling and numbness, muscle twitches, muscle cramps, severe muscle weakness leading to paralysis, low blood pressure, abnormal heart rhythms, excessive urination, excessive thirst, and heart will not work as well, right? Now we'll go to hyperkalemia. So that's hyper means high, kalemia means potassium. So high potassium. And guys, this is very rare, very rare. The only time it happens is if your kidneys aren't working as well, or if you're taking potassium supplements. So guys, you got to be careful with potassium supplements. If you're taking too much, it can really cause some harm. And the thing is, potassium supplements, they don't come with everything else like fiber and other nutrients. So it's just one thing, it's potassium, right? And that can actually cause an excess. And I would much rather you guys to get your potassium from whole foods than taking a supplement, because it can be really dangerous if you take too much. And whole foods will regulate the potassium better. So anyways, so this is very rare. It usually means the kidneys are not working well. You'll feel abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, chest pain, heart palpitations, arrhythmias, irregular, fast or fluttering heartbeat, muscle weakness, and you'll have heart problems. So your heart's not going to be functioning, guys. So this, what they teach us in school is if you have a potassium level of anything above 5, that's dangerous. That's really dangerous, because your heart can stop. It can cause irregular rhythms, and that can stop your heart, because the potassium's in charge of the heart. And once your heart's not working, your body's not working, you can die. So guys, they tell us this is an emergency. This is really important. You got to get it fixed and treated. Okay, guys, and then so for potassium, some other things that can affect your potassium are diuretics. So a lot of people take diuretics for heart disease because it helps the kidneys flush out the water and flush out that excess water in your body, right? So spirulactone is actually something that spares the potassium, but like furosemide is another diuretic that will flush out that. So if you're taking that, you got to monitor your potassium levels. Another thing is tobacco actually interferes with potassium absorption, not intake. Caffeine also plays a big role, and caffeine will impair your absorption of potassium. So you don't really want to be taking that. Same thing with alcohol. So tobacco, caffeine, and alcohol can really cause malabsorption of those nutrients, right? So now, guys, now that we've talked about potassium, sodium, it's good to have a good mix, right? But there's also 30 potential harmful minerals, guys. So we're going to talk about harmful minerals, and we're going to talk about how we can get rid of those, right? And so there's minerals like lead, gold, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, lead, thallium, aluminum, nickel, radium. And when we take those, it actually does harm for your body. It can cause kidney problems, heart problems, neurological problems. So And sometimes you can get that from environmental contamination. So sometimes you can get it from the water, and industrial waste. You can get like contaminated food. You can actually get them from medication supplements, pesticides, herbicides. All that stuff can cause it. And drinking, obviously drinking bad water, cosmetics, fireworks, even old pipes, and food preservatives can also cause these. So basically, if you're doing like construction, you got to be careful with this. And some symptoms you can see is aches, cramps, tenderness, and heavy metals. When heavy metals accumulate in your body, you're gonna feel that. And arsenic is one of those that can happen. You can get that from arsenic, and that's actually sometimes in the water. So yeah, these things are gonna cause problems. But now, guys, let me tell you guys something. So if you're having a problem with that, whole foods actually can flush those bad minerals out. So you can look it up. I mean, there's tons of whole foods that can help you flush out those heavy metals from the body. So now, guys, let's talk about how we can maximize our intake of these minerals and how we can get our bodies to the maximum health. So foods high in minerals are basically whole foods: nuts, seeds, seafood, vegetables, organ meats, eggs, beans, cocoa, avocados, berries, whole grains, fruit, stuff like that, yogurt, cheese. And so all those whole foods are going to help you. Now, guys, added sugar, processed flours, and processed oils, those things are not going to help you, guys. So that's something I don't think you should be intaking. But let's talk about some of the ways that can increase your mineral absorption, guys. So vitamin C can help you absorb these minerals. Probiotics can also help you. Eating slowly, eating enough healthy fats can actually help your absorption. Cooking the foods can improve digestion. Sleeping well can help you absorb the nutrients. And now let's talk about some things that will actually decrease the absorption of the minerals, right? Caffeine can interfere with calcium absorption. Alcohol, same thing. And tobacco also, guys. So tobacco and some teas, actually. So guys, I actually have never drinking alcohol, never smoked, and I've never drinking coffee, because those things can actually deplete your body of minerals, right? And it's going to cause a lot of harm in the long run, right? So I don't drink alcohol. I've never smoked, and I don't drink tea, or I don't do tobacco or anything like that. And coffee has a lot of caffeine in it, and that's actually going to cause you to not absorb those minerals and nutrients, right? So I think if you don't drink alcohol, if you don't smoke tobacco, or if you don't drink coffee, you're going to be a lot better off, and you're going to have a lot less health problems in the future, and especially if you're eating a lot of whole foods and cutting out like processed flours, processed oils, processed foods, and added sugar. That can also increase your health a lot. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys like this. Please subscribe. I'm currently, doing my whole foods diet, and I'm showing you guys the route, and I'm gonna tell you guys how I feel. Yeah, go ahead, subscribe. I want to get you guys' health better, and also I am, wanting to become a doctor so I can teach you guys the things that they teach us. And so thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna simplify this for you. Thank you for watching.